Yeah, Darshan. You can share your ideas, Darshan, on as a WhatsApp message. No issues. If they are really relevant, I'm gonna use in my response. It's not at all a tough task for me. Okay. Concern for the environment is growing rapidly, and more people are choosing to be eco-tourists, traveling in responsible, environmentally friendly ways. Okay, concern means worries. Worries for the environment is growing rapidly, and more, more number of people are becoming eco-tourists instead of, to be part of a mass tourism. They may choose to travel in small groups, or may choose to travel in eco-friendly way without disturbing the environment, right? Without causing pollution, being part of a large group while visiting the places, right? Let's make use of stock phrases. As a result, ecotourism industry is expanding. So when ecotourism industry is expanding, which means more number of ecotourists are going on trips. Even we find more number of ecotourists, that's also bad for the habitats and natural surroundings, biodiversity. It's just like if there are more number of ecotourists, again more number of people are visiting the places, right? So if the ecotourism industry is expanding, what happens? To what extent do you think this is a positive trend? So is it really a positive trend or negative trend? Okay, positive or negative trend is just like advantage and disadvantage kind of question. Okay, so let's write down some advantages. Basically, due to ecotourism, there won't be disadvantages, but somehow we should be able to write. Okay, you may even choose to write this response in a way, just including positives of ecotourism, and then coming up with your own opinion that ecotourism is really great and better. Okay, even in conclusion, you may include ecotourism is always better. Expansion of ecotourism is always necessary for any country to conserve the biodiversity all around, right? Yeah. So you can write a response mentioning, emphasizing ecotourism is always a better thing for any country. The expansion of ecotourism is necessary. This sort of ideas can also be included in your conclusion, and your response, your body paragraph should also be in agreement with that idea. Okay, right. Let me make use of the stock phrases, what I have suggested. The last type is advantages and disadvantages one. Yeah, this one. Okay, let me take one of the general sentences given here. So let me take, these days more and more people are going on ecotourism, going on. eco-tourism trips or something. So becoming eco-tourist or something. These days, more and more more are more people are choosing to be eco-tourists. What does this mean? Traveling we are just it looks like we are just repeating the same sentence or same idea from the question, right? Let's pick the other one. Shall we go with an increasing concern or something? Okay, let me take this one. In modern times, the issue of what's the issue? Concern for the environment. Okay, the issue of environmental friendly, eco-friendly, eco-friendly tourism. There is another word which gives same sense is sustainable tourism. Sustainable tourism has become highly has become popular in modern times. Sustainable tourism has become popular. Increasingly has become increasingly popular. Increasingly popular, right? So what's the other one? An increasing concern. Let me write one out. An increasing concern. So sustainable tourism is eco-friendly tourism. So better to be the second sentence. Let me write the first sentence making use of one of the increasing concern or something of that sort. Right. An increasing concern for many people around the world is environmental protection. is effect of tourism or impact of tourism on the environment. The environment. An increasing concern for many people around the world is impact of tourism on the environment. In modern times, sustainable tourism has become increasingly popular. Right, buddy? So now it is better. These are the two better sentences. Can be part of introductory. And next, one general topic statement. The second one is somehow narrowing down statement. Let me write the third one, contrasting statements. While a common opinion is that generally I always use this phrase, looks less common. While a common opinion is that that ecotourism is beneficial for both environment and also local people are hosting places. And both environment and hosting places are local communities. While a common opinion is that ecotourism is beneficial for both environment and local communities, other people feel that expansion of this tourism, expansion of this ecotourism can have ecotourism industry expansion of this ecotourism industry have some negative, unexpected, unwanted negative consequences, unwanted negative effects or consequences. Okay, so the first statement is a general topic statement. The second one narrowing down, I mean slightly related to topic. The third one is a contrasting one. Okay, bit lengthy because I'm talking about the both advantages and disadvantages. Final one is a thesis statement. Thesis statement is like before presenting a conclusion, both advantages, both benefits and downsides, advantages and disadvantages, or you may even write benefits and both benefits and downsides. Downsides means benefits and downsides. Before presenting a conclusion, both benefits and downsides have to be reviewed have to be reviewed with suitable evidences. Necessary evidences are suitable with necessary evidence and necessary evidence and school. That's enough. Necessary evidence So before presenting my overall opinion, an overall conclusion, both benefits and downsides of this ecotourism, of downsides of expansion of ecotourism, right, have to be reviewed with necessary evidence. Cool. This is the introductory paragraph, buddy. An increasing concern for many people around the world is impact of tourism on the environment. Just a general topic statement. Okay, talking about tourism. In modern times, sustainable tourism has become increasingly popular. These days, many people are opting out to be eco-tourists. So I have written it. So while a common opinion is that ecotourism is beneficial for both environment and local communities, other contrasting statement. Right. Finally, the thesis statement. Thesis statement indicates the examiner that's how you are going to organize your body paragraphs. Let's move on to body paragraph. From an overall perspective, there are two key advantages, benefits or advantages of ecotourism. A simple sentence, like a topic sentence, a kind of side heading. Ecotourism. And its expansion also have some benefits, right? Firstly, ecotourism is always environmentally friendly. Ecotourism, unlike conventional tourism or traditional tourism, ecotourism always supports unlike traditional tourism, which often leads to what? Destruction of biodiversity and habitats, natural habitats, leads to destruction of biodiversity destruction of biodiversity and habitats. So if more number of people are visiting a particular place, the environment is always spoiled, ruined, and the particular tourist. You can even observe in any tourist spots. So government have to work much more than other places to conserve the biodiversity, not to spoil, get not to the related the particular place, not to get spoiled, right? But because more number of people, different sort of people from different cultures, right, visit the place, and all their deeds must be withstood by the environment. The environment should bear all of their deeds, right, their actions, unusual actions. So firstly, unlike traditional tourism, which often leads to destruction of biodiversity and habitats, ecotourism ecotourism preserves 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 the environment, preserves the natural areas or environment. Natural areas means environments. Natural areas of environment. Areas of surroundings and environments. Okay. For example, do we have example to write furthermore? Yeah, we have further. For example, for example, ecotourism operates. Ecotourism organizers uh, can support, are supporting these days. They are supporting local communities, local wildlife protection and all. For example, ecotourism organizers ecotourism organizers all generally, typically, ecotourism organizers raises the fund, patronizes patronize patronize means funding, patronize local wildlife protection programs, wildlife and environmental protection, local environment and wildlife protection programs. From an overall perspective, there are two key advantages of ecotourism. Firstly, unlike traditional tourism, which often leads to destruction of biodiversity and habitats, ecotourism preserves natural areas of environment. For example, ecotourism organizers patronize local environment and wildlife protection programs. Right? As a result, what happens if they are protected? The protected areas develop, can be improved. Protected areas can be improved, and biodiversity biodiversity maintained, conserved and maintained. Balance in the biodiversity can be maintained. No need to repeat can be, just maintain can give the necessary sense of can be. Okay. So from an overall perspective, there are two key advantages of ecotourism. Firstly, unlike traditional tourism, which often leads to destruction of biodiversity and habitats, ecotourism preserves nature. For example, ecotourism, as a result, protected areas can be improved and biodiversity maintained. Cool. Next one. Secondly, another one is like local communities are going to be benefited. Ecotourism can benefit ecotourism can benefit communities and host countries economically. It's a kind of economic benefit. Host countries. Secondly, ecotourism can benefit local communities and host countries. Local communities of host countries. Right? Unlike the past, we have a where is it? Unlike the past, people today, unlike the past, in the past, the tourism companies are the people who take the people in large numbers to the visiting places, right? So entire revenue is going to the corporations. But now local communities are going to be benefited due to this ecotourism, right? Unlike the past, when revenues, tourism revenues often went to tourism corporations, tourism organizations, when tourism revenues often went to large corporations. Ecotourism business are more right. Ecotourism business is actually supports local people, and tourism revenues often went to large corporations. Like in the past. Tourism businesses are business are locally owned and operated. They are not large corporations who administer these tourism. Like in the past, when tourism revenues often went to large corporations, ecotourism businesses are locally owned and operated. This ensures what happens due to this. This ensures This supports, this confirms, this makes sure that the money earned, confined to local communities is confined. This ensures that the money earned is within communities. Okay. For example, ecotourism organizes patronize local environment and wildlife protection programs. The protected areas then obviously maintains the biodiversity. Ecotourism is the second. Ecotourism can be from local communities and host countries. Unlike in the past, when tourism revenues often went to so these two sentences can be rewritten in like a single sentence, unlike in the past when tourism the skill is presenting the whole meaning in the least possible word count. In the past, tourism revenues often went to large corporations. However, whereas you may even write whereas, however, ecotourism businesses today are locally owned and operated, ensuring that money earned stays within communities. Now it is cool. Okay. So this is enough to be first body paragraph talking about the advantages. Let's talk about the disadvantages. Despite the arguments, there are some disadvantages. There are also various disadvantages to ecotourism. Due to ecotourism. Okay. Despite the arguments, there are also various disadvantages to ecotourism. What could be the disadvantages? The first one, although there are, although ecotourism is with best ideas and best intentions, there is a possibility of environmental destruction with this as well because it is expanding. Disadvantages to expansion of ecotourism, right? Okay. Although ecotourism, even though ecotourism aims to minimize, right, reduce, mitigate aims to minimize this sort of impacts, aims to minimize the environmental degradation although ecotourism aims to minimize the environmental degradation and other negative effects such as environmental degradation. Although ecotourism aims to minimize the negative effects such as environmental degradation, what happens? More number of people, right? Increased volume of tourists, increased volume of footfall or footfall, number of attendees, increased volume of foot traffic, invaluable or sensitive, fragile means sensitive environmental places, sensitive environmental or ecosystems, increased volume of foot traffic. Although all are environmental friendly tourists, if they are more in number, increased volume of foot traffic in fragile ecosystems, what happens? Fragile ecosystems can still lead to damage, increased volume of foot traffic in fragile ecosystem can still lead to soil erosion, right? These are the bad effects if there are more number of tourists. Soil erosion, and what's the other one? Disruptions, disturbances to wildlife. Although ecotourism aims to minimize the negative effects such as environmental degradation, increased volume of food traffic in fragile ecosystems can still lead to soil erosion and disturbances to wildlife. Okay. So what are the other disadvantages? Furthermore, there is a are what could be other problems if these eco-friendly tourism organizations may falsely claim that they take the tourists in eco-friendly manner without disturbing the environments, but most cases that's not true. Frankly speaking, we don't find any negative effects due to this eco-friendly tourism, but you should be able to write some possible negative effects, right? There is a risk of, a new term that I have written is misleading people into believing that the company entirely doing more protect environment than it is usually is. That is greenwashing. The risk of greenwashing. The organizers may indicate you in the beginning that they protect the environment. They always follow environmentally friendly ways while you all visiting, while they are taking you to visiting places. A risk of greenwashing, where businesses wrongly claim, falsely claim to be environmentally friendly, to attract more number of tourists. Attract more number of conscious, eco-conscious, eco-friendly, eco-conscious tourists. So obviously, due to this, the genuine idea is going to be, genuine motive is going to be falsely represented. The next tourist won't believe in any organization. Ecotourism may get reduced. Tourists There is a risk of greenwashing where businesses falsely claim to be environmentally friendly to attract more number of undermining genuine conservation efforts. So as I have been typing for the past half an hour, if you feel doubtful of any sentence or if you want me to modify any sentence, please let me know. Okay, I don't know how extent you are following. Somehow if you ask for doubts or if you are proactive in case of raising doubts or if you are unable to understand any sentence, if you have any better version of sentences, please suggest me.
Sir, what is the meaning of greenwashing?
Darshan.
Sir, Hardik here.
Hardik, tell me.
Greenwashing meaning?
Greenwash means falsely claiming that they protect the environment. False claims, presenting false claims. Okay, you are an eco-tourist. There is an organization offers ecotourism, but basically they won't follow ecotourism standards at all. That's a greenwashing.
Yes.
So undermining genuine conservation efforts and where businesses mislead and falsely claim misleading customers, misleading ecotourists. Misleading consumers, undermining genuine conservation efforts and misleading consumers. So I think this is enough to write under disadvantages. Basically, ecotourism means the tourist places should not be disturbed. Okay, the biodiversity at the tourist places should not be disturbed. That's the motive of ecotourism, right? So although there are efforts to maintain the biodiversity, the balance of the environment, there might be disadvantages if there are more number of ecotourists going at the same time, visiting the place at the same time, right? And there are also organizations which mislead the eco-conscious tourists. Okay, so that's absolutely undermine genuine conservation efforts and right and misleading consumers. So let's move on to conclusion. We have written. Let's count the words. Let's have a rough count at least. 229. Okay. So let's write another paragraph conclusion. So what could be the conclusion? So ecotourism is always better. There are advantages and disadvantages, but that organizing the ecotourism must be in a good way, right, buddy? So there must be clear policies to administer ecotourism, right? In conclusion, expansion of ecotourism has clear advantages and disadvantages. Having considered I would argue that benefits of ecotourism you know encouraging the environmental protection policies, supporting local communities, obviously more than Benefits of ecotourism, having consumed. Having considered both sides of the issue, it is evident, it can be seen, it is evident means it can be seen that advantages benefits outweigh drawbacks. It must be said that the expansion of ecotourism has clear advantages and disadvantages. Having considered both sides of the issue, it is evident that the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. Right? Managed. Things are administered or managed responsibly. If managed responsibly, ecotourism if managed responsibly with proper regulations and practices, ecotourism can be an effective tool for sustainable development and environmental preservation. $280. Cool. So I have made use of the stock phrases. Right. In conclusion, it must be said that the expansion of ecotourism has clear advantages and disadvantages. Having considered both sides of the issue, it is evident that the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. If managed responsibly with proper regulations and practices, ecotourism can be an effective tool for sustainable development and environmental preservation. Okay. Right. Any doubts in this response? You may check this response once again. And if you feel doubtful of anything, please you can reach out to me anytime.